Vishnuvad Panamhansa Pariprajaka Sto Turasata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Nam Acharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Jayadvaita Gadadhar Śrīvāsadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamana Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Is this microphone all right, or is it feeding back? It's okay? Yeah. Gangyatam Shakra. Yes? 19. Oh. I was given 17, I think. Surabhir uvāca. Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa mahā-yogin viśva-ātman viśva-sambhava bhavatā loka-nāthena sa-nāthā vayam acyuta surabhir uvāca Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa mahā-yogin viśva-ātman viśva-sambhava bhavatā loka-nāthena sa-nāthā vayam acyuta surabhir uvāca Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa mahā-yogin viśva-ātman viśva-sambhava bhavatā loka-nāthena sa-nāthā vayam acyuta Surabhi uvāca. Surabhi said, Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa, O Kṛṣṇa, 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 mahā-yogin, O greatest of mystics, viśva-ātman, O soul of the universe, viśva-sambhava, O origin of the universe, bhavatā, by you, loka-nāthena, the master of the world, sa-nāthāḥ, having a master, vayam, we, acyuta, O infallible one. Mother Surabhi said, O Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa, greatest of mystics, O soul and origin of the universe, you are the master of the world, and by your grace, O infallible Lord, we have you as our master. Purport. Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura points out here that Mother Surabhi is feeling great ecstasy as she repeats the words, Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa lifted Govardhana Hill by his mystic power and thus protected the cows of Vrindavan, whereas her so-called master, Indra, had tried to kill them. Thus, Surabhi now clearly understands that it is not the demigods, but rather the Supreme God, Kṛṣṇa Himself, who is her real master forever. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadhati Shapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Shahagana Raghunathan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lolita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Vansha Kolpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Jayadvaita Gadadhar Shri Vāsadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Surabhir uvāca, Kṛṣṇa mahā-yogin, viśva-ātman, viśva-sambhava, bhavatā loka-nāthena, sa-nāthā vayam acyuta. Surabhi called out to the Lord, Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa. Śrīla Hare Krishna. Śrīla Jiva Goswami says that this was because of taste. She had a taste for chanting Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa, 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 Hare. Out of taste, she's repeatedly chanting Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa, that Srila Rupa Goswami also says that who can say how much nectar there is in these two syllables, Kṛṣṇa? When I'm chanting Hare Krishna, he says, that I wish I had thousands of ears and thousands of tongues. So that actually we could chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. This is not mechanical chanting. She's chanting out of ecstasy, out of taste. That Krishna is so wonderful. Oh, Krishna, Krishna. And mahā-yogin, mahā-yogi, it's not a small thing to lift Govardhana Hill and hold it for 7 days like a mushroom, like a frog's umbrella, Prabhupada said. So Krishna is the master of all mystic powers, including Srila Jiva Goswami says, anima siddhi, the power to make something lighter than the lightest. So Govardhana Hill, he lifted it as if it were a flower, very easily lifting Govardhana Hill. Mahā-yogin. The yogis in the yoga studios can't do this. The yogis in the Himalayas can't do this. Krishna can do this. So mahā-yogi. And viśva-ātman, he's the soul of the universe. In every living body there's a soul, and when the soul leaves the body, then the body's dead. So the universe also has a soul. That soul is Krishna. Without the presence of Krishna, nothing in the universe will exist or develop. But by the presence of Krishna, everything is going on. So, viśva-ātman, as the body has a soul, the universe has a soul. And viśva-sambhava, the origin of the universe. people don't know, materialists don't know, that the origin of the universe, that first of all, that there's a divine origin to the universe. They're such fools that they think that matter alone can self-organize into a universe. This is their childish idea. But Krishna is the origin. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. Everything comes from Krishna. Viśva-sambhava. The yogis who claim to be God, anyone who claims to be great, he can't say that all the universe comes from me. He can say it, but anyone can say anything. But he can't legitimately claim to be the origin of the universe. Even Lord Brahma is not the origin of the universe. He has his origin from the Garbhodakshay Vishnu. So Krishna is viśva-sambhava, the origin of the universe. Not only of this universe, but all the universes. But this universe, that's all right, that's enough. sa-nāthā vayam acyuta. And the Surabhi says that you're our Lord. Bhavantamevānucharan nirantara prashanta nishesha manoratantara kadahamaikantaka nityakinkara praharshiyashyami sa-nāthā jivita. Maybe Jamunacharya. Bhavantamevānucharan nirantara. When will I be engaged? Always, unceasingly, in pure devotional service. Bhavantamevānucharan. Following you, following your instructions. Bhavantamevānucharan nirantara. Prashanta nishesha manoratantara. And by pure Krishna consciousness, all material desires will be pacified and the mind will stop running around here and there and everywhere. Manoratena sati dhavato bihi. This microphone is feeding back. It's feeding back and it's okay, both. You're an old man.
What?
Manoratena sati dhavato bihi. The materialistic mind is going here and there and always disturbed. Always disturbed. The mind, Prabhupada said, sankalpa prabhavan kaman. The tyaktvan, sarvan tyaktvan asheshataha. So many desires are coming. not because we need this, we need that, but because the mind is going and going and going. And it's imagining, I would be happy with this, I won't be happy without that. Prabhupada called this someplace creative mental speculation for sense gratification, like that. So prashanta nishesha manoratantra. When will I be done with this business of fantasizing about sense enjoyment so that my mind will be fully peaceful? Kadaham aikantaka nityakinkara. When will I be exclusively engaged as your eternal servant? Kadaham aikantaka nityakinkara. Praharshiyashyami sa-nāthā jivitam. Then I'll be exceedingly happy. Praharshiyashyami sa-nāthā jivitam. Because I'll have my true master. Prabhupada points out, I think the point was made in the class the other day, that a dog without a master is unhappy. Here in India particularly, the dogs are have a miserable life. But if a dog gets a master, of course in India they don't get masters so much, but sometimes. If the dog gets a master, then the dog is very happy. He gets his food, he gets his warm place to stay, he gets everything he needs. So the dog is very happy, and the master's affectionate to him also. Good dog, nice dog, yes, very good dog. So the dog becomes happy. He's got what they call a dog's life, which in the West means a nice life. Sa-nāthā. Sa-nāthā and anatta. Anatta means an orphan. The orphanage is anathalaya. Is it better to be an orphan, or is it better to be protected? So the living entities in the material world are in anxiety because they don't know their true master, or they're averse to being under a true master. Prabhupada, one time we were at an airport, and Prabhupada was there with all the devotees, a departure. And we were sitting, and there was one little child, devotee child, little, still dressed in diapers. And he began to look around to explore the airport. So he took a few steps, and Prabhupada said, "Oh, he is very brave. He is very brave." And after a few steps more, he looked around, and he was surrounded by all these big people, and he didn't see his mother, and his face began to crinkle up, and he began to cry. Well, this is the position of the conditioned souls, or not only conditioned, liberated. We all need the protection of Krishna. We all are meant to be under the protection of Krishna. It's not only need, but it's happiness also. It's not that the servant only serves because he gets something. That's the material world. I serve as long as you pay me. I serve as long as I get some benefit out of it. But in the spiritual world, it's a joy to serve. It's a privilege to serve. It's ecstasy to serve. No one is paying. the Brajbasis to serve Krishna. No one is paying, but they love to serve Krishna because this is the natural business of the soul. When the soul is out of its natural slot, it feels unhappy, miserable. But when the soul is rightly situated, then he feels happy. Praharshiyasya, I mean, not just happy, but overjoyed. sa-nāthā, now I have my Lord. Or just like a woman in wartime, the men go to war, and who knows whether they'll come back. Everything is uncertain, and the wives are staying at home and hoping that their husbands will return, that they won't be widows. So when the husband returns, actually, then she's overjoyed. And my husband is safely returned. sa-nāthā. That my husband has come back. So, sa-nāthā, acyuta. And here we have some master, but he's fallible. Just like Indra, he ordered, Samvartak, and all of you clouds, go to Vrindavan, finish them off. I'm also coming, riding on my elephant, don't worry. And at the end, Indra was humiliated. The business of the clouds turned out to be just creating an aparad, and ineffective also. They couldn't really do anything. So they had a master, but the master was fallible. Acyuta. It was actually a fall down for Indra, although he was thinking he would show everyone, and in Braj, who's boss, who's master. He did, actually. He showed everyone who was master, but it wasn't him. It was Krishna. So Krishna is the infallible master, acyuta. Ratam stapya me acyuta. He's infallible in his affection for his devotees. He's infallible in everything. And therefore, Surabhi was overjoyed to be under the protection, not of Indra, but of Krishna. All right, are there some questions, comments? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much Maharaj. So nice deep realization you have explained about sa-nāthā. So my question is here, someone who are either brahmachari or grihastha can stay in Vrindavan without Guru's permission or not following the authorities?
Can someone stay in Vrindavan, grihastha or brahmachari, without Guru's permission? Guru may not be present to give permission or withhold permission, that's one thing. And Guru also may not be giving out permissions for everything. Some gurus, I don't know what number Jayadvaita Maharaj is up to now in terms of how many disciples he has. Whether it's, I'm not even sure how many digits the number has. But not every disciple can approach the Guru. Can I go to Vrindavan? Can I go to Mayapur? Can I go here? Can I go there? That may not be possible. So just from a practical standpoint, in terms of asking permission, can I stay in Vrindavan? It may not be possible. That's one thing. And authorities, yes, the brahmacharis have to be under the authority of they're supposed to be under the authority of the temple president, temple management. But grihastas are a little freer. They may go here or they may go there. That's up to them. Of course, we were discussing the other day that Vrindavan is especially for retirement. If one is looking for happiness in householder life, enjoying the comforts of householder life, then Vrindavan is not particularly meant for that. Prabhupada established Vrindavan, especially, like this guest house, especially for the retired people. Especially for the retired people. And the retired people don't need permission to come to Vrindavan. It's their duty. What is that? Panchashordham vanam brajet. After 50 years, go to Vrindavan. Go to the forest. Prabhupada said forest means, in this age, go to Vrindavan. So no permission required. All of the retired people, they can come to Vrindavan and be engaged in devotional service. For that matter, whether brahmacharis, grihastas, they have to have some service to do. Otherwise, why come to Vrindavan? Vrindavan is meant for devotional service. It's not a place just to go shopping. It's meant for devotional service. So anyone who comes should have that purpose in mind. Let me serve. Maybe as vanaprastha, maybe as sannyasi, maybe as brahmachari, maybe as grihasta, but the purpose should be to serve. Otherwise, why are we in Vrindavan? And if the Guru is not personally present to say yes or no, at least searching my own conscience or consulting with others, I should think whether I'm going to serve my Guru by being in Vrindavan. My life is for serving my spiritual master. If I go to Vrindavan and it's not for the service of my Guru, why am I going? So one can ask, will my Guru approve? He may or may not be physically present. My godbrother, Guru Gauranga Prabhu, he says this is his test. When he has a serious decision to make, he pictures himself going before Srila Prabhupada and either asking permission or explaining himself. And if he can't explain himself, if the answer is going to be, who told you to go? Why are you doing this? What is this nonsense? Then that means don't do it. It means honestly assessing, would Srila Prabhupada, if Prabhupada were presently here, personally, physically present, and I were to ask him, yes or no, this or that, what would he say? And if the answer is something other than what I'm thinking, then I should change my thinking. Is that okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. There's a question in the back. Back. Piche.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for your wonderful class.
I wanted to say something. This has been on my mind just for some time. And it's not directed at anyone. It's just an observation that, because we know that it's traditional to praise the speaker of the Bhagavatam, it's now become like a little tradition in ISKCON. Thank you for the wonderful class. And then we get on with the question. In Prabhupada's time, we just asked the questions. And thank you for the wonderful class is more like Sutta Goswami is speaking to, rather Shonaka Muni is glorifying Sutta Goswami, explaining why he's the qualified person. You know, that's thank you for the wonderful class. Otherwise, thank you for the wonderful class is kind of, it's become like a thinking noise. You know, just a little, what should we say? A little thingy, a little ritual that we do. It really has no meaning. We don't really know what was wonderful about the class, or it may or may not have been wonderful, but we're supposed to do this. We're supposed to say, thank you for the wonderful class. So at least in my classes, everyone has permission to skip, thank you for the wonderful class, and just ask the question.
I apologize.
You don't have to apologize. I wasn't singling you out.
Maharaj, I've been thinking about this point throughout the Govardhana Hill that we've been listening. And in the Purport it says how Surabhi is glorifying, she's feeling ecstasy when she's saying Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa, whereas Indra actually wanted to kill those cows. So Maharaj, what I wanted to ask was that Indra did this out of anger. This is my understanding, because the worship was not being done for him. So Maharaj, the question is that sometimes we see that even amongst devotees, out of anger, we may say something if things are not done our way, which can cause devastation to the person who is the subject. Maharaj, could you comment on that aspect when we do things out of anger, when things are not done our way?
Thank you for the wonderful question. It means, first of all, that I'm self-centered. That I'm thinking that I'm the center of things. And when things don't go according to my plan, my convenience, my desire, my plan, then something's wrong with the universe, and the universe needs to be corrected. Some person is responsible for getting in my way, and that person needs to be straightened out. So that's already problematic. Krishna is the center of everything, and Prabhupada points that out. If you have a pool of water, you throw a rock in, your circles will come out, and you throw another rock in, and another set of circles, and the circles collide and clash. But if you could throw every rock in exactly the same place, all the circles would be concentric, harmonious. So real harmony comes when we all have the same center of interest, the natural center of interest, Krishna. Everything is for Krishna's pleasure. When I'm thinking it's for me, then I'll be naturally in competition with everyone else, and I'll be clashing with others, there'll be discord and anger. Kamat krodho vijayate. I have some material desires, material plans or wishes or determinations, and when they're dissatisfied, as they so often are, when they don't, things don't go my way, then krodha avijayate, then anger. Anger is the younger brother of desire. From desire, anger. And krodhat bhavati sammohat. From anger comes bewilderment. Sammohat, complete bewilderment. Someone becomes angry, he, as we say, loses it. Kamad krodho vijayate. Krodhat bhavati sammohat. One becomes completely bewildered. As long as until we get angry, at least there's some rationality. It may be in the service of passion or whatever, but still we have our wits about us to some extent. When we become angry, then we quickly become bewildered. Sammohat smriti brahmshada. Smriti brahmshata. Then we lose we forget. Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? Smriti brahmshad buddhi nasha, and we lose our intelligence. And buddhi nashat pranashyati. And when we lose our intelligence, then everything's completely finished. The number one type of, number one source of homicides and so on is domestic discord. Most crimes, at least a huge number of crimes, are domestic crimes. And what kind of crime? Someone becomes angry, and then because he's this angry, and then becomes bewildered, forgets everything, loses his intelligence. I killed my wife. The next thing he's like beating her with a lead pipe or something. She's dead. Pranashyati, finished. Because of anger. So we shouldn't think that we're the center of the universe. We should be happy that we're servants of Krishna and He's the center of the universe. And we should be willing to accept, all right, Krishna has sent this, Krishna sent that. I had my plan, but Krishna had a different plan. So let me adjust. Let me adjust. Not that the world adjusts to me, but I adjust to the desire of Krishna. Is that okay? Yeah, well, it's easy, I guess. The next door is or wherever it's gone. You have it already, okay.
So Maharaj, it is said that Vaishnava is one who keeps his words. Vaishnava is one who keeps his words.
A Vaishnava is one who keeps his word, okay.
So this applies to all the Vaishnava devotees. Oftentimes it is seen that devotees, they give words, but they don't keep the words.
Often it is seen that Vaishnavas give their word, but they don't keep their word.
So how to understand such kind of...
Real thing is Vaishnav means who serves Krishna. That's Vaishnav. And generally Vaishnavas keep their word. But sometimes in business, for example, word may not always be kept, or lies are told in business. But generally one of the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava, I think, is that he's truthful. So, should be. That's all. I'll punch or go to Prabhu.
Nice question. Surabhi came from Surabhi loka, and what was actually the purpose of Surabhi coming and offering these prayers to Krishna along with Indra? Was it just to protect Indra or to soften things up?
Why did Surabhi come to accompany Indra? Well, that's
also Surabhi loka. I'd like to know what is the Surabhi loka?
Everybody's been asked that question this week, and nobody knows, including me. Do I recall that Brahma also advised that you go with Surabhi? You know, definitely soften things up. Krishna's Govinda, he's sympathetic, he likes the cows. So if you go with a cow, then if you go alone, then it's just you, the offender. But if Surabhi is with you, then Krishna may think, all right, let me be a little sympathetic. Also, what an opportunity. If I were Surabhi, I'd take any excuse to go see Krishna and get Krishna's darshan. Sure. Oh, I want you to come with me because I have to offer prayers to Krishna and apologize. Would you go? Oh, yeah. Come in a moment. Krishna, Krishna.
Is Surabhi same as the one Surabhi is in the loka Vrindavan?
Is the Surabhi the same as the Surabhi in...
Are the Surabhi from Surabhi loka in this universe the same as the Surabhis which are described in the loka Vrindavan from Brahma Samhita's prayers?
They both go moo. They both go moo, yes.
Nice answer.
I can't, it would be a better answer if I were Dina Bandhu, you know, he could do a proper moo.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, anger, and especially domestic anger. My question is, anger is bad, but do we suffer Vaishnava Prada also if we anger against children?
Could you slow down a little bit, please, and start again?
Regarding anger, and especially
Yes.
domestic anger,
Yes.
when somebody is angry with his wife or children who are also Vaishnavas, do we have suffer Vaishnava Prada also?
Do we have to suffer Vaishnava aparad when we're angry at our wife or children? Of course, there's a certain anger that's shown as a matter of duty. Just like Śrīla Prabhupada would show anger toward his disciples. Fool, nonsense, rascal, who told you to do this? You're useless. And that was just the warm-up. So he could be extremely angry, and then, as many devotees have testified, 5 minutes later he's in his room and he's completely placid, but he would show some anger. In Gaudiya Mat, they might say he displayed the pastime of showing anger. It's the duty sometimes of the father to show anger. It's said by Chanakya Pandit that when the child is up to the age of 5, let him do any nonsense. But after that, you should be very strict with him. He should be afraid. He should be afraid that if I do any nonsense, my father will be angry. I may be punished. And just like Indra, now, what was that in the verse that I was in 17? Anushāsanam. Kriyate anushāsanam. Kriyatam anushāsanam. According to your qualification, now you just do what I say. You've been punished, and if you don't carry out your duties properly, you'll be punished again. So for the father to show some anger is his duty sometimes. He has to show some anger. But he shouldn't be uncontrolled. Anger means, yes, you show some anger, but not that he loses his wits and starts becoming uncontrolled. That's not good. Yes, Prithu Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. I personally have seen Prabhupada 2 times becoming extremely angry. And let me just talk about this one time. It's very instructive. At that time, our leadership in a particular part of the world was thinking of getting rid of a big temple to start smaller temples. And so we went to Prabhupada, and we sat in front of Prabhupada, 3 of us. And Prabhupada heard all the arguments. And he kept saying, it's happening in Germany, not in America. It's a nice place, it's an important place, and it's closer. He gave counter-arguments. And then after some time he said, and even if your child has been born deaf and blind, then he screamed at the top of his lungs, you could hear it, and does that mean you kill it? It was ferocious. We were in a shock, Doesn't mean even if your child has been born deaf and blind, doesn't mean you kill it. And then he became very cool. He said, fatherly, he said, don't kill it. He said, develop it. So we could see that Prabhupada's anger was completely free from the mode of passion or ignorance. It was not to get rid of my frustrations like in the material world. We become angry and finally we found somebody that we can become angry with. It was not in Prabhupada at all educational, completely detached. He could turn it on like you turn off the gas lamp heater, and he could turn it off within a second. And it could be horrific. Anybody have seen Prabhupada anger, his lip was trembling and became blue in his face. It was horrific. You never forget that. But it was free from the mode of passion. It was education. And so in the same way, for educational purposes, sometimes, yes, Narada Muni gives an example to the snake. That's cobra, so you have to show your hold. But not out of aggression. It was completely free from aggression. It was transcendental anger.
Hare
You said about the Vrajvasis, they don't have to get payment to do the service. But actually we sometimes create this system of paying someone for this service, so it can be easily happening also here.
So easily what?
The idea of not paying to someone for doing this service. You said that the Vrajvasis, they don't need to get paid.
Vrajvasis don't need to get paid. They don't want pay. No.
But it can happen also like ISKCON very easily.
It can happen anywhere that someone wants payment. So then that's called mixed motives. There are questions in the back.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, my question is that in the earlier times, devotees like yourselves would have Srila Prabhupada as the Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, service authority. It was one personality where all the energies were concentrated to.
Yes and no. It's not that Shiksha Guru, yes, Diksha Guru, yes. Service authority for most of the devotees, no. They had their local authorities. They didn't go ask Prabhupada, should I clean the pots? Should I go on Sankirtan?
Right. Now Maharaj, in today's times...
Even Shiksha, by the way, so often it was coming from senior devotees. So it's not that everything was just Prabhupada and directly. So, yes, and your question.
Yes, thanks for clarifying, Maharaj. So, Maharaj, in today's time, in our generation, we have service authorities, sometimes more than one service authorities, Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru, and there's a lot of plurality in that sense.
A lot of plurality, yes.
And sometimes one tends to think that if there is just one personality to completely concentrate on, it's easier to focus and give yourself. And then there are many devotees, and of course we try to serve everyone to the best capacity. And so my question is that what's the right mood, what's the right perspective one should build in a society where you are serving many devotees? And what's the definition of spiritual master in that sense?
Guru Mukha Padma Bhakya Chitete Kuriyaikya Arna Kuriyo Maniyasha. It may not be very good for management. Perhaps we might like to downplay it, but as far as the philosophy and our tradition is concerned, the disciple gives everything to the spiritual master. Chitete Kuriya Aikya, exclusively. Arna Kuriya Maniyasha, he has no other desire but to satisfy the spiritual master. We can't legislate that no, don't give so much importance to the spiritual master, or some other idea that may come in, sort of bring the spiritual master down to a manageable size so that administration will go on nicely. One should make the instructions of the spiritual master one's life and soul. Prabhupada said that was something he took as very important when he read that in Cakravartī Ṭhākura's commentary on Bhagavad-Gita. One should make the instructions of the spiritual master one's life and soul. Well, that's the position of the disciple. Otherwise, what does it mean to be disciple? Prabhupada quoted, "Everyone's servant is no one's servant." So that's the teaching, that's the philosophy. It's not changeable. The disciple, if I'm not going to give my life to my spiritual master, then why am I approaching? Just to be rubber stamped? And so one has to give one's life to the spiritual master and follow the instructions of the spiritual master. That's the first thing. Ado Guru Padashraya, one should accept. And the next thing is Saddharma Pritcha, to inquire from him about one's eternal duties and to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. Aparad in Dashaparad, against Harinam, to disobey or disregard Guru Avagya, the instructions of the spiritual master, the order of the spiritual master. So we can minimize the spiritual master if we want for some institutional purpose or whatever idea we have, but only by sacrificing the philosophy and the teachings and the tradition. The disciple has to make the words of the spiritual master his life and soul. Now, Shiksha Guru means, Prabhupada explained, one who teaches and explains or encourages you to follow the order of the Diksha Guru. Shiksha Guru means you've gotten some direction from the Diksha Guru, and the Shiksha Guru assists you in following that direction. It's a supportive role. It may be very important, it may become most important, but it's not in conflict that my Diksha Guru tells me something, but my Shiksha Guru has told me the opposite. Or if he's told me the opposite, it's actually in support of the Diksha Guru's instruction. Because the circumstances changed or whatever. So that's the second thing. And service authorities, two things. The service authority has to take into account that this person is someone's disciple. He's not just my man. And the guru has to take into account that the disciple is serving in the society, the disciple is serving in some temple somewhere, if that's what he's doing. And therefore, he should be cooperating with the temple authorities, so he trains the disciple, Guru trains the disciple to be submissive, to be cooperative, to, both things should be there. Not that the Guru thinks, well, he's there in such and such temple, but really he's my man, so whatever I want him to do, that's what he's really supposed to do. And he just walks all over all the people who've trained the disciple and perhaps recruited the disciple to begin with, recommended the disciple. That's bad manners, among other things. We expect that the Guru would take into account these other people who are helping him. And on the other side, that the temple authorities will similarly want to assist the Guru. So that's spiritual society. Everyone is helping everyone else in service to Krishna. Is that all right? I hope so, because time's running out.
Just one comment that I think this explains very well in a case where Guru is very active in the disciple's life, but as you rightly said just a few minutes ago, that when Guru has too many disciples, he may not be having that active role. So we're looking at a situation where Guru is not so actively connected with the disciple. The disciple may be connected with multiple, guiding authorities. So in that situation, how do you visualize a spiritual master? When you say you give your life and soul, outside people, they don't know that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Once they get to know, it's easy for them to focus. So for a person of our generation who does not have that direct connection, how does a person concentrate on this idea?
And Prabhupada also, it's not that all of us were sitting around Prabhupada and getting letters every day from Prabhupada. Some disciples never met Prabhupada. Some disciples, they met him or they saw him, but they didn't have much personal interaction. Many of them never got a letter, never got a personal instruction. But one should know what is the teaching, otherwise why have I even gone? What is the teaching of the spiritual master? What is the mission of the spiritual master? That one should know. And if you don't get particulars, I want you to go on book distribution, I want you to worship the deity, that's all right. The spiritual master has his representatives, temple president, temple commander, so on, so on. So then you take direction. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhupada ki jai. Jayadvaita Maharaj ki jai.